Welcome to the Contemporary Arts Center. Breaking Water is a group exhibition consisting of works by 17 artists who are all thinking about water, aquatic ecosystems, human and non-human interdependence, and our relationship to water, nature, and society as a whole. When you think about your relationship with water, how would you describe the role it plays in your life? How concerned are you about the well-being of water? The title of this exhibition, Breaking Water, comes from this video installation by Callista Lyon and Carmen Why Not. The video shows found footage of flooding and dams breaking, and movie clips of women's water breaking during childbirth. The artist asks us to think about life-giving and life-taking forces of water. They wonder, what can be learned from water? During the film, the audio file features the artist in conversation. They talk about the adaptability of water, how in a river restoration project, water remembers where it should flow. They explore the importance of questioning why we have so many dams in the United States. And they bring to light the capitalistic and colonialist reasons for the control of water. Another artist who wants us to question who controls water and why is Andrea Carlson. Her video, Crude Hands, depicts the artist's hand gesturing toward her grandmother's land on Lake Superior. This shore provided a livelihood and is a sacred location for her Ojibwa ancestors. Carlson's hand melds with the landscape, connecting her to the land and water. Her references to indigenous histories of colonialization and assimilation resist the erasure of Ojibwa practices and colonialist control. Carolina Caicedo's water portraits ask us to think about colonialization as well. When you think of a landscape painting, what comes to mind? What about a portrait? The ways we've come to think about portraits and landscapes have been influenced by European, colonialist ways of representation. A landscape is typically horizontal, and the viewer is outside of it, trying to see as much as they can. Portraits, though, are normally vertical and are more intimate. To create this water portrait, titled Medulla, she uses Photoshop to manipulate photographs of a waterfall, creating symmetrical patterns reminiscent of body parts, cells, animals, and other natural phenomena. The artist sees rivers as beings and is calling for us to see the rivers not as a commodity, but with a reverence that has been lost through colonial histories. Claudia Peña Salinas' installation references Zaha Hadid's architecture and its angles. Aztec sculpture and ruins also play a role. The artist was inspired by the waist-high walls of buildings and the Aztec concept of heaven, or Kane. The title of the installation, Kane, references the Iroquois word that gave the state and river its name, Ohio, meaning Great River, and Kane from Kane. The artist emphasizes the interconnection between water and humans by physically joining objects that represent those connections. The wood pylons are from Coney Island Creek, where the artist works. The image on the wall is a representation of the Ohio River, and there are postcards with different images of that river. The worn river rocks were collected behind the artist's familial home in a riverbed. Peña Salinas argues that all the waters, Coney Island Creek, the Ohio River, the Gulf of Mexico, and the river behind her family's home, are connected just as we humans are connected. The artist also uses the postcards to remind us of the history of the Ohio River, its use in trade, history as a border between enslavement and freedom, and industrialization. Another artist influenced by rivers is Vion Sora. Sora was born in Baghdad, Iraq. The city is on the Tigris River, with the Euphrates River just to the west. Historically, this area is known as Mesopotamia, or between the rivers. The presence of the rivers was a major factor in the development of civilization there. Sora considers rivers as both a source of salvation and cause of destruction. Rivers, she states, have offered the promise of new life or taken life away. That dichotomy is expressed in the emotional reactions viewers have to her paintings. This work, Riverbed, was created in the aftermath of the deadly tornadoes in Kentucky in December 2021. Sora reflects on climate change, trauma associated with water, and the merging of human, non-human, and natural world that occurs after destruction. As you look at this work, what do you see? What do you feel? Cleo Faricelli's ceramic works directly reference the connection between water and the human body. The artist uses her body as a mold for the clay, encasing her face, ears, and hip, and firing using a raku process. The result is a work that appears like cooled lava or a mussel shell that came from the sea. How are you connected to water? What words do you associate with water? Have the artworks you've experienced today changed the way you think about water?